So, a while ago, I was watching a video called I Tried to Beat Star Wars Battlefront II as a Jawa from ThatGuyPredz, which is exactly what it sounds like, an attempt at completing Battlefront II's Rise of the Empire campaign using only a Jawa through the use of the custom campaign mod. The challenge seems simple enough, however, since the Jawa's ionization blaster doesn't work on certain structures or enemies, it makes playing many of the game's objectives impossible to complete. Take Felicia, for example, where the Acolyte take no damage from the Jawa whatsoever. And as anyone who's been subscribed to the channel since the original Minimum Kills challenge will know, it's impossible for the Acolyte to die without direct player intervention. And it doesn't stop there. Most of our schematics tables are unaffected, as are the Camino clone pods, as is the Polis massive data bank, and the same is true of the terminals seen on Tantive 4. If we compare between the possible and impossible maps, we can see that it's basically split down the middle. Or is it? While all the maps I mentioned are affected by these lightning-resistant structures, it is my hypothesis, or should I say my hypothesis, that in spite of what would be a blocker for the Hoth mission, we're nonetheless still provided with enough tools at our disposal to complete the mission anyway. So, join me as we attempt the impossible. Can we beat the Hoth campaign mission in Battlefront 2 as a Jawa? If you like this premise, do be sure to click like and subscribe. Let's see how far we can get with our little hooded friend. The first thing to say about the Jawa is that it is pretty slow. Having been too used to playing as the regular classes like the Sniper and the Dark Trooper, even with an infinite sprint, the Jawa just feels, well, sluggish. This, compounded by multiple unfortunate sniper shots, made completing this first objective much too difficult, and by the time I finally got to the command post, I only had a handful of reinforcement tickets left for my team. Fighting off the rebels using the Jawa's ionization blaster is no different to the Dark Trooper's arc caster. The more you charge up, the more enemies the lightning charge will damage, and if you preempt each shot with a jump or a roll, it increases the fire rate substantially. Sadly, even though I was a tiny amount away from capturing the command post, I got shot from a distance and forced to watch the rebels recap it completely as I slowly made my way back. With only 2 reinforcements now, I tried to make a dent in the command post only to get sniped once again. Without reinforcements for backup, my attempts to take this objective are futile, and so I'm forced to restart the mission. On my second attempt, I got nothing like the bad luck I was getting before. I'm also able to take cover by standing between these 2 droids, and after a little over a minute, I'm already able to take care of the first objective. As I'm making my way to the bunker to the south for the next objective, I'm hit pretty hard by snipers, which almost kills me. Thankfully, I managed to kill one of the nearby snipers, which dropped a big health and ammo pack, as does the next rebel soldier that crosses my path, restoring me from near death all the way back to full health. Which is just as well, as greeting me into the bunker are 4 rebels right next to the command post. As more pile in to help defend, I'm rolling harder than a droidica in an attempt to fire as quickly as I can to dispatch these rebels. This works very effectively for me, meaning I'm able to complete this objective with no deaths here either. Once I'm done, I respawn back at the AT-AT to take care of the shield generator. Now, for this objective, I'm going to be trying a slightly unconventional approach, as it will help out with the future objectives. Once I've got a nice visual on the health bar of the generator, I whittle the health down to as little as possible before exiting the AT-AT and boarding a nearby AT-ST instead. I piloted the AT-ST to Echo Base and then shot the shield generator, which destroys it completely, before then immediately exiting the vehicle and making my way inside Echo Base, where very few enemies are here to greet me. The reason why I'm doing this is because the game generally matches up with the events of Empire Strikes Back. In the film, after the shield generator has been destroyed, the rebels are seen retreating back to Echo Base and towards the transports to evacuate the planet. The game parallels this by making all the rebels retreat into the Echo Base hangar to defend it from the Empire, with more and more rebels joining the longer you take, where it's possible to be met with dozens of them holding out to prevent its capture. But since this retreat only happens the moment the shield generator is destroyed, I can take advantage of this by taking the final shot against the generator for myself while next to Echo Base and then capping it with very little trouble. Now, as I explained in the introduction of this video, the ionization blaster is simply not capable of destroying certain targets, and this is true of the terminal during this particular objective. And while our teammates can reduce the health of the terminal down to 50%, there is a hard-coded AI damage threshold that prevents it from going down any further. Thankfully, unlike in the vast majority of the other maps where this is a problem, we have a workaround solution. If we have access to a remote rocket, it is possible to fire it through a hole in the collision above the snow pile in Echo Base. It's an obscure bug in the game that, even by speedrunning standards, isn't something that ever gets used, as it's not really applicable for Rise of the Empire speedruns with award weapons. By navigating this remote rocket in the out of bounds region of the map, we can route it so that it hits the back of the terminal and do a bit of damage each time. Now, that's all very well and good, I hear you say, but Jawas don't have remote rockets. You're right, so that's why we need to go all the way back to command post number 1, board the ATST, and take up the co-pilot seat, where we can freely use the remote rocket. Even with a limited energy bar, reaching the other side of the map as the remote rocket is no issue here. The problem, though, is that I'm simply just not very good at this trick. Time and time again of travelling the entire length of the map into Echo Base and then attempt the out of bounds, the majority of the shots I'm taking just does not hit the right spot. Fortunately, as I'm much too far away from the main fighting, it means that I can't die and have infinite retries to get this trick right. But it takes me a full 8 minutes to destroy this terminal, piece by piece, and with only one reinforcement ticket remaining. But at least we'll get a bump up now, right? Right? Oh. Oh no. We still only have one ticket left. And we need to capture the back hangar now. If I hit the respawn button to warp myself to Echo Base, that's an immediate game over, so I guess I'm forced to walk all the way back to the objective from Command Post 1. It's when I'm halfway to the north bunker connecting to Echo Base that I notice several rebels on the map actively spreading out to defend the entrances of Echo Base, essentially moving in to intercept me. Despite this, I'm still able to make my way into the tunnel, dispatching the few rebels I come across. It's when I finally make my way to the back hangar, where I'm met with a huge crowd of rebels. I valiantly attempted to kill these guys, making as best of a bad situation as I could. I was able to neutralise the command post, but the sheer amount of rebels, and the Millennium Falcon auto turret in particular, was just too much, and so was forced to restart once more. On my third attempt, I managed to reach the terminal console once more with a similar number of reinforcements to last time. If I can just get more consistent with the out of bounds clip, then that'll be the key to all of this. And my wish did sort of come true. My remote rockets were becoming consistent as more and more were going out of bounds. However, I was suffering from a terrible skill issue and I just kept on hitting these boxes that were next to the terminal just way too often. Even so, not only had I beaten the objective once again, but completed it in just under 6.5 minutes, with a whole 6 reinforcements left to work with. But that didn't last, however. Respawning back at Echo Base already cost 1 ticket, and by the time I was halfway back to the back hangar, the reinforcements dropped once again down to 1, and so I was forced to attempt the impossible once again. Now, to my credit this time, I was able to capture this even further than last time, getting the command post neutralised and halfway to convert into my team. But unfortunately this run also wasn't meant to be. On my 4th attempt, things go quite swimmingly. I took no deaths during the first and second objectives, and after taking Echo Base with very little issue, the rebels are all scripted to immediately leave their vehicles and turrets, allowing me to ride this nearby Tauntaun all the way back to the ATST. This time I managed to lock in, as my remote rockets were not only consistent going out of bounds, but consistent in hitting their target. Not only was I faster in completing this objective than last time, but I was beating it in just under 3 minutes, which left me with a full 23 reinforcements once the terminal was destroyed. After respawning back at Echo Base, I made my way into the back hangar with a renewed confidence. I went straight for the command post, and doing so, it meant that they were being attacked on 2 fronts. One from me capturing the actual objectives, but the extra stormtroopers were helping out on the other side, distracting the other rebels from attacking me. And so, for the first time, I'd finally been able to capture the back hangar. With that, I now had to face the next objective of taking the bomb beacon and dropping it underneath the rebel transport, defended by many trenches, auto turrets, and, of course, rebels. Fortunately, for challenges like this, it's usually safest to go around all these obstacles so that we're much less likely to get targeted, and so, by triggering an infinite sprint, I was able to take the bomb beacon all the way to the end. For the next minute, I had to defend the bomb beacon. Never before have I had to roll cancel this hard before, as rebels came pouring in from a bunker to the northwest and into the trench underneath the transport, but also more directly from the ground, directly next to the beacon too. But try as they might, the rebels ultimately failed to destroy the bomb beacon, thanks to my efforts, and victory was mine. After everything, I finally beat the mission after working at it for a solid 50 minutes straight. And so, there we have it! We can now move Hoth into the list of maps where it can be beaten by playing as a Jawa. Going back to Predz's video, there's this frustration in how impossible it is to play through a map that cannot be progressed solely due to the limitations of a single objective. But specifically he says,
Hoth, for example, everything about that mission would kick ass.
And I like to think my contribution has absolutely proven that to be true. At last, now we have a silver lining that proves that there are substantially more Jawa viable missions than non-Jawa viable missions in this game. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you like what you've seen and want to see more, please comment below, like and subscribe. I've got a big video in the making, but I'm always open to more suggestions like this in the future. If you want to check out the custom campaign mod for yourself, then there's a link to the Battlefront II speedrunning Discord where there is a thread with the files needed to play for yourself, and I would highly recommend checking out Predz's channel for his other Battlefront II challenge content too. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.